Now let's go to the border battle in our own country. Texas Governor Rick Perry is renewing calls for President Obama to send National Guard troops to the line between the U.S. and Mexico. Perry says if something is not done soon, the humanitarian crisis with thousands of children coming into America without any parents or guardians at this point will just get worse. Meanwhile, many of those young ones, mostly from Central American countries, are being relocated throughout our nation. It is a move that's sparking anger from some state leaders who say they were not given adequate notice that the illegal children would be headed their way. All this as Congress considers the president's request for nearly $4 billion. The president says it's to help the border control agencies deal with the sudden influx of illegal immigrants. But critics of the money plan say the main issue driving the crisis are President Obama's immigration policies.
Well, our view, I think, as House Republicans is, look, we're not going to write a blank check for over $4 billion or scrubbing it. Now, it's going to be a more targeted approach probably through the end of the fiscal year. But also on the policy side, I'm on the Speaker's working group. We're looking at things like changing the 2008 law.
Steve Centani is live with the news from Washington. And Steve, how does Governor Perry envision using the National Guard?
Well, Harris, he says it would provide vital resources along the border to help the agents there who are already overworked. Now, Perry met with President Obama last week in Texas to discuss this ongoing crisis. And today he said that in order to ease the current crisis, the National Guard could be deployed to reinforce border security. Listen.
And it's important to do that because this flood of children is pulling away the Border Patrol from their normal duties of keeping bad people, keeping the drug cartels. They're being distracted. So that, I will suggest to you, is a very obvious reason that those National Guard troops could come play an important role.
Perry also criticized the president for not visiting border facilities where the immigrant children are being processed. That during his trip to Texas last week, Harris.
You know, Steve, even some Democrats say the president should have gone to the border, our southern border with Mexico, but they're still defending him.
Yeah, they say this is a humanitarian crisis driven by events in Central America and is not a result of the president's immigration policies. And they point out that in dealing with this influx, the president is following a law signed by President Bush that requires an immigration hearing for Central American children crossing the border.
Republicans keep saying, well, we can't fix the immigration issue because we don't trust the president to enforce the law. And then when the president actually follows the law in 2002 and 2008, the very law that that was signed by President Bush, they say, well, he should do something different.
An estimated 52,000 Central American children have already crossed the border without documents since October of last year, and the count continues to rise. Harris.
Steve Centani, thank you very much.